Thank you for tuning into Inflection's Crowdsource Recap. This session was all about how to build a holistic learning community through a shared identity. Keep watching for key insights presented by Inflection's CEO, Dr. Matt Coleman, and members of our community.
This idea that as an organization, you need to articulate clearly what you value and you believe. And you see in their mental model, those are shared understandings that are often shaped and undergirded by values and beliefs. But those values, those beliefs, those mental models are critical for organizations to be successful. And I say organizations just because it comes from the organizational theory literature, and has direct applications in schools. You want your staff, you want your students, you want your families to understand this is what we collectively value and believe, and what and how we see the world. And it's not every last little thing, but those pieces that are core to who the school is, and who you are as a community, as a learning community, is critical. Because what you're looking for when we say fit is this idea that my values and beliefs align with, and to Todd's point, and Christina's experience, those things start to draw each other in and start to attract each other. I can tell you, and the other thing that happens is when there's misalignment, and we've all experienced it at some point in time, when there's misalignment, when my values, my personal values and beliefs don't align with the shared values and beliefs of an organization, you look for an exit, you look for a door, you're not going to stick around. When they do align, you get the big smile and the waves from Christina that she has been, it's just like she's just in this amazing place. And ultimately, when we start talking about culture and climate, it's the connection of personal identity with organizational identity, that link that drives the culture and climate of an organization, of a business, and obviously for all of us in schools and districts in which we work. A school that's struggling with culture and climate, the first question I'm going to ask: do you have a shared set of values and beliefs? And I'll just give you one little example. When I was principal at Westview High School, when I first took over, we had suspended, so from a culture and climate, it was not a positive culture and climate. We had suspended 44% of our African American and Hispanic students. And this was there's about 500 kids between those two groups within a school of a couple thousand kids. 44%. And part of it, not part of it, all of it was really driven by this lack of shared values and beliefs. And I'll give you one example that really turned the tide of a belief that we chose as a community to lean into. And that was this idea that equity meant kids get what they need, when and how they need it. And that belief drove 5 or 6 major structural shifts that caused in a 3-year period that 44% being suspended or expelled to be 9%. And over a 5-year period, it caused kids in those two groups, only 2% were participating in advanced program. Over a 5-year period, that 2% went to 35, 40%. And it was that value and belief, and more of a belief, that belief in this idea that kids equity means kids get what they need, when and how they need it, that drove systematic change that then completely transformed the culture and the climate of the school. Too often what we do is we do a lot of rearranging of desk chairs, that idea of what's above the surface. We hit on things and don't get to the root cause of what's the cultural issues, what's the issues around climate or morale. And that root cause is always connected to either a disconnect in terms of identity, but most often at schools, it's a lack of identity.
We have our 3 maxims that we live by here, and one of them is stand together. And one of the greatest moments ever was we were in a dispute with a parent over certain consequences for a student's actions. And it was a heated interaction. And that parent looks at us and says, wait a minute, I thought we stand together. And she was bought into our beliefs. We maybe had disagreements in the play out of how it looks, but that's when we knew like our community is in this as well.
Thanks for watching. For more resources on shared identity and systems change, visit portico.inflection.org.